Hey everyone, good morning. Tanya here. I wanted to jump on live again today. Yesterday I said I was going to do this for 7 days at least. So I wanted to kind of structure the next little bit around mindset and some of the things and the triggers that are coming up for people, at least things that I have heard, so that I can hopefully share more value, more information with everyone, and it can just make a bit of a difference. So today I wanted to talk about the things that are how to stop beating ourselves up without the help of therapy, medication, and like mass seminars. And while all those things absolutely have their place and are fantastic things, if we break each one of them down a little, therapy realistically brings everything up to the surface and leaves us there to deal with our shit outside of the session. We talk about how it makes us feel, but we don't actually come to any solutions within the session with the therapist. Medication, again, disclaimer, depending on where you are within your health journey, can be very, very valuable and very, very important. However, if it's something that is actually a mental or emotional issue that's going on, something that's happening within our mindset, it ultimately becomes a band-aid for us to kind of mask what's actually going on. And then when we look at seminars are powerful, and they've been becoming more and more powerful within the last couple of years. However, with any seminar, the first thing they will always say to you is the real event begins the minute you walk out the door. And it's the minute that you walk out the door and you aren't surrounded by that energy and those people that you need to start doing it yourself. And we go home, and a week or so later, we're like, well, we start beating ourselves up because we're doing exactly what we did before, right? We're not feeling that feeling, and that self-loathing, that beating ourselves up comes back in. So I wanted to give a couple of tips today on how we can stop doing that without having to go to those solutions. And the first and biggest one is it boils down to our state. So beating ourselves up and that feeling of self-loathing, that is in essence a state. And what I mean by state is it's a series of emotions and feelings that we're having. The beautiful thing with states is we have the ability to shift it. So if we're able to give ourselves a minute to process what's going on, we can shift our state. So you could easily do something as silly as jumping up and down for 5 minutes, grabbing a skipping rope, taking a couple deep breaths, and you will automatically change your state. One of the most profound ways, and the way I found that has helped me the most, remove the beating myself up feeling and set myself up for a successful day, is a good morning routine. And by a good morning routine, I mean incorporating the things that we need to do, being the biggest one being not touching our phone for the first 20 to 30 minutes of our morning. So when we grab our phone or we grab technology and we start looking at what everyone else is doing, we automatically lower our frequency, we lower our vibration, we start that comparison-itis of Sally's doing this in her life right now, like it's all over Facebook, and I'm barely getting out of bed right now, and it's like 10 a.m., I'm like in lockdown, like this is hell. So we start comparing that. So when you're not paying attention to that, first thing in the morning, you already starting your day on a better note. The other thing with a morning routine, or I guess the first 20 to 30 minutes of the day, is that's when our brain is the most, it's working its quickest, it's firing the best. It will, whatever we retain within those first 20 to 30 minutes, that's what's going to set the tone for the rest of our day. So if we're filling it with the scroll of social media or comparing ourselves to somebody else and starting the process of beating ourselves up all day, that's what we're going to get throughout the day, is more reasons to beat ourselves up. Whereas if we switch that to create a healthy morning routine, that can be something like, and I'll just use mine for example, I will get up and I will journal for at least a page, 10 minutes, whatever comes quicker, and I will just write down everything I'm feeling. I will then have my cup of coffee. I will write 10 things I'm grateful for, because a gratitude practice is, again, another thing that changes our state, raises our elevation, and gets us away from beating ourselves up. I will then do 10 minutes of a meditation or 10 minutes of just quiet time, where I'm just letting my thoughts come to me. I'm just blanking everything out. I'm letting myself just be. And sometimes I'll do that with guided meditation. Sometimes I will, and right now the holiday fire is on Netflix, so I will just turn it on and stare into the flames, because there's something very trance-like that will get you into a meditation, especially if you haven't done a lot of them, quicker by staring at the flicker of the flames. And then I will incorporate some type of movement. So I will get my heart rate going. I will either go for a walk. There's days where I'm feeling lazy and I'll literally just do like 10 jumping jacks, anything to spike my heart rate and get my mind moving. As we move throughout our day, we're able to retain this morning routine a bit better because our lives, and I'm sorry, I meant to grab a glass of water, so we're going to use coffee, are a lot like a container of liquid. As we go throughout our days, we start full, and as we start making decisions, we're spilling some of it out. So that by the end of the day, we have no liquid left in the cup, and we default back to our habits. And that's where that beating ourselves up can come back in. However, when we start the day and we start the process in a higher elevated, higher frequency state, we tend to maintain that a lot longer through the day, and we start rewriting some of our habits, so that we're not defaulting to that same beating yourself up, self-sabotage, junk. Tony, I'm going to reach out to you to answer that one with you, okay? However, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Tony, I will be in touch. However, as we move throughout the day, we want to make sure that we're staying in that elevated state, right? And then at night, if we notice triggers or things that cause us to beat ourselves up, and again, I got to go back to the scroll. I know with the way that 2020 has been, a lot of us have been comparing our lives to the highlight reel that we see of other people's on social media. So if you're the type of person who late at night sits down and starts flipping your phone, maybe taking that opportunity to put it away. Or to have a conversation with somebody in your life, to use the phone for what it was actually meant for and call people. I know it's crazy. We don't do it anymore. However, it's something that will help you get that connection back and start reinforcing how amazing that you are, so that you're not going down that rabbit hole of self-sabotage and beating yourself up. So that is my little rant, and I will be back tomorrow with some tips on how to get unstuck. Have a wonderful day, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.